Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Whether he knows it or not, Kyler Murray will spend his bye week moving into a ritzy new elite neighborhood. It's the gated community of top-tier NFL quarterbacks. And this isn't speculation, folks. These are facts. K1 ranks number 2 in QBR behind Lamar Jackson. He ranks first in fewest hits taken ahead of Lamar Jackson. And an advertising friend of mine in New York City said Murray is poised to become America's next sporting underdog hero if he can finish the season with a playoff berth, like his face in Times Square, kind of big. It is all there right now within his grasp. So back to Murray's new neighbors, all of whom face questions. Can Lamar Jackson win when it matters? Will Patrick Mahomes ever lose when it matters? Can Josh Allen beat Mahomes? Can Joe Burrow win with terrible owners in Cincinnati? Murray's questions are different and much more immediate. How will he respond to a bye week? Can he sustain this heady level of excellence and efficiency? Can he beat really good teams in the heat of a playoff chase? After all, the Cardinals' 4 losses came against teams that are 29-9, while their last 4 victories have come against teams that are a combined 16-21. So, how will Murray feel? Will he be intimidated by this new neighborhood, or will he finally feel like he's made his way home and right where he's supposed to be?
Quarterback of the week, according to Matt Ryan, former NFL quarterback who's now with CBS Sports. That was on the Pushing the Pile podcast. You mentioned it in the blast. Kyler Murray is second, 1.2 points behind Lamar Jackson in QBR.
It's not a joke.
Which is a way more overarching
factors in more
accurate.
things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, but the old passer rating, Lamar Jackson's like 23 points ahead of Kyler Murray.
Right.
But,
which doesn't say as much,
75.7 is Kyler Murray's QBR ranking, sandwiched in between Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Those guys have combined to throw 48 touchdowns over 6 picks. So Kyler Murray does not have nearly the amount of touchdowns, but the efficiency, the whole package is right there.
Yes.
It's also 12.5 points higher than any QBR rating he's ever had during his career for a full season. So he has certainly elevated. And something that Matt Ryan hit on there that I think it makes this a little bit more meaty than it's been in the past is that the Cardinals are not leaning that heavily on Kyler Murray right now.
No.
They don't need to. It's a luxury that he still has that ability to do those things when they need him to.
Fascinating point. So you bring up the quarterback, the best dual threat quarterbacks who can really gash you with their legs. And who is in that group of quarterbacks? Lamar Jackson's in that group of quarterbacks. Josh Allen and Kyler Murray are in that group of quarterbacks.
Jaden Daniels,
Jaden Daniels, and maybe Jalen Hurts. Okay, so how many Super Bowls are in that group of quarterbacks? You won't find one.
Nope.
Then you get to the group of quarterbacks who when they have to, or even the predominant amount of time, they're throwing from the pocket. And that quarterback room has rings. Now, that might be unfair to group them that way. This might be more of a function of these individual players. But I do think that fundamental change in Kyler Murray is really part and parcel with what we're watching right now. And I do believe that there's room for this offense to get even better. For instance, Trey McBride is busting out into a superstar NFL player, right? We all see it happening before our very eyes. I read that he is tight end number 3 in fantasy football points per game, which is astounding when you realize he's got 0 touchdowns.
Receiving touchdowns.
He's got the rushing touchdown.
And he's got a fumble recovery.
And he's got the fumble recovery.
Yeah.
The 0 receiving touchdowns.
This is amazing.
And he's still posting those kind of numbers. So that's what I think you're talking about when we're talking about maximizing quarterbacks. Can Kyler Murray do it? You heard Matt Ryan also say he believes the 49ers are coming. I think those are the footsteps we all hear. Whether or not they're real or not, you can hear it because it's happened before with the 49ers.
Yeah, but it also tends to happen with the 49ers when they have a good health picture. When the 49ers have fallen short under Kyle Shanahan especially, and they've had some nightmare seasons with injuries, I wouldn't say it's nightmarish yet It's getting better, obviously, when you get Christian McCaffrey back. But they've also had great health.
Mm-hmm.
They're a team that's not dealt with injuries well. So I'm real curious to see what that game, the 49ers game against Seattle, looks like this week.
You and me both.
And I don't think Seattle is – obviously, they're not trending in the right direction. They're coming off their bye, so we'll see if they're refreshed at all. But
and they're also
I wasn't overly impressed with San Francisco last week.
Seattle's in try to save the season mode, too, try to turn things around because that's slipping away from them.
The only thing that scared me about San Francisco last week was after Baker Mayfield's heroics, they went downfield. They got way too conservative, only took one shot at a touchdown and didn't even get the ball in the end zone, kicked a field goal, and then San Francisco came back and just raced down the field and won the game. And it was like, okay, I hope that's not the launching pad for them because, like you, I haven't been all that impressed with them. But that game against the Buccaneers looked much more like your prototypical San Francisco 49ers game, where their defense is like 1A, and then that offense and the zone running scheme and all that stuff kind of falls in line behind it.
Fair.
So, again, this is going to be fascinating. You've got these two games, these games against the Seahawks, these bookend games when you come out of this bye week, they're going to be everything. Because I think the Seahawks are a lesser team. I agree with you. I think they're slotted and destined for last place in the NFC West. You win both those games, you can afford to lose to Minnesota in between. Not that it's going to happen, but you could afford to do that because you're still going to be sitting at, 8-5 at that point in time? Mm-hmm. You beat Seattle in both those games, this team's getting into the playoffs. Because then you still got the Patriots and the Panthers. You win those, you're at 10. And now you've got those last two games against the Rams and the 49ers. So Barnsley might be a Nostradamus.
I think there's an element to exorcisms, though, with both the Patriots and Panthers. They're not good teams. I think they're both kind of finding something right now. And recent history, even when those teams have been bad, they've played well against the Cardinals.
That's very fair. Because Bryce Young is because everybody in Carolina, they're playing for their jobs, including Bryce Young.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that.
And he's been way better since he's been reinserted as the starter.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.